Hey, hey, welcome back to Speak English with Mishu. I'm Emily, and as always, I'm here with the one and only.
Thank you. I'm Liam, and wow, Emily, today's topic is going to blow minds. We're talking about how to study so fast it almost feels illegal. Sounds wild, right?
Seriously, this week's been busy for me, but something cool happened. I finished an entire book in just 2 days using one of the tricks we're going to share today. And no, I didn't skip pages.
That's amazing. I had a similar win. I used a focus trick and did 4 hours of study in just 90 minutes. Honestly, it felt like I was cheating time.
If you've ever looked at your books and thought, how will I finish all this? Then stay with us. What we're going to talk about today could change how you learn forever.
Ready to turn your brain into a learning machine? Let's dive in.
Let's be real for a second. Learning something new can feel overwhelming. Whether you're trying to learn English, prepare for exams, or just study faster, most people feel stuck. They read the same page over and over and still forget everything.
Exactly. And that's not because they're lazy or slow. It's because no one teaches us how to study smart. We're told to focus, read more, or just revise, but nobody shows us how to actually make our brain work faster and better.
And that's why this topic is so powerful. Imagine if you could learn in 30 minutes what used to take 2 hours. What would that mean for your life? More time to relax, less stress, and much better results.
You see, fast learners aren't just gifted. They use systems, techniques, and brain hacks that anyone can learn. And the best part, these methods aren't magic. They're backed by psychology, neuroscience, and practice.
So, whether you're learning English, preparing for school, or trying to study anything faster, this episode will give you the tools you need. No more wasting hours, no more burnout, just clear, fast, smart studying.
Let's break it down step by step. First, we need to talk about the real struggle, why so many people fail to study efficiently in the first place.
Let's be honest. Studying is one of those things we all want to do better, but most of us end up feeling tired, distracted, or confused. You sit down to study, and suddenly your brain is like, let's check Instagram, or maybe clean the room, or take a nap. Sound familiar?
Oh, definitely. One minute you're highlighting a sentence, and the next minute you're deep into some random video about penguins. And when you finally look at the clock, it's been 2 hours and you've learned nothing.
It happens to everyone, but it's not just about being distracted. The real problem is that most people study in a way that kills motivation. They try to force themselves to sit for hours, reading passively, memorizing without meaning.
Right. And when you don't see progress, your brain says, why even try? You feel guilty, anxious, or like you're falling behind. It's a terrible cycle.
And for English learners, this can feel even worse. You might think, I'm not good at English, or I can't remember anything. But the truth is, your method is the problem, not you.
So, before we teach you how to study fast, we have to understand what's slowing us down. No clear goal, wrong techniques, no breaks, boring materials, and most importantly, no strategy.
Once you see those problems clearly, it becomes easier to fix them. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. Let's talk about why this happens emotionally and logically. Let's go deeper now. Why do we actually struggle to study? It's not just about time or distraction. There are emotional and logical causes behind it. And once you see them, everything starts to make sense.
Let's start with emotion. Most people carry fear or self-doubt into their study sessions. Thoughts like, what if I fail? Or I'm not smart enough. That mental pressure makes it 10 times harder to focus or absorb anything.
Yes. And then there's boredom. If your brain isn't excited or emotionally connected to the material, it'll start shutting down. That's why traditional studying, just reading silently for hours, doesn't work. It's like trying to memorize a phone book.
And logically, our brains are wired for efficiency. That means if you're using a technique that doesn't give fast results, your brain loses interest. It's always looking for patterns, shortcuts, and meaning.
Another big cause is multitasking. People think they can study while texting or watching TV, but the brain can't learn deeply when it's constantly switching tasks. You lose focus and your memory suffers.
Also, no one teaches us how memory works. We don't learn how memory works in school. We're expected to just remember things. But here's the truth. Memory is like a muscle. If you don't train it the right way, it won't grow. If you use the wrong technique, it gets weaker.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not that we can't learn, it's that we're too tired, too anxious, or simply don't believe we can learn fast. That emotional block becomes a wall we keep running into.
So, the real reasons we study slow are a mix of emotions, poor strategy, and lack of awareness about how the brain actually learns. But once we understand this, we can flip the game.
And that's what we're about to do. Let's get into the first powerful solution that will make your study speed jump to the next level. And trust me, it's simple but super effective.
Get ready to take notes. This first tip alone can cut your study time in half, and it works for English, exams, or any skill you're learning.
All right, let's unlock the first strategy. It's called the Pomodoro Power Method. And no, it's not a pasta recipe. It's a study technique that's so effective, it feels like a cheat code.
Here's how it works. You set a timer for 25 minutes and focus 100% on one task, no distractions. Then you take a 5-minute break, walk around, stretch, drink water. After 4 Pomodoros, that's 4 times 25 minutes, you take a longer break, around 20 to 30 minutes.
Sounds simple, right? But this method works because it trains your brain to focus in short bursts. You don't feel overwhelmed and your mind stays fresh.
It's like telling your brain, let's just focus for 25 minutes. We can scroll Instagram later. Your brain agrees, and boom, you start moving faster than ever.
This method is especially useful if you're studying English. For example, you can use one Pomodoro for listening, one for vocabulary, one for speaking practice, and one for reading. It keeps learning fun and focused.
Plus, every time you finish a Pomodoro, you feel a small win. That sense of progress keeps your motivation high. You'll study longer without even realizing it.
Try it today, just 4 Pomodoros. You'll be shocked at how much you can learn in just 2 focused hours. And remember, quality beats quantity when it comes to studying.
All right, now let's stack on top of that. Ready for solution number 2? This one's all about how your environment can either slow you down or speed you up like lightning. Let's talk about something people ignore, your study environment. Imagine trying to run a race in a messy room full of obstacles. That's what studying in a cluttered, noisy, or distracting space feels like.
Exactly. If your environment is full of interruptions, your phone buzzing, people walking around, loud TV in the background, your brain is in survival mode. It's impossible to learn deeply in that state.
So what's the fix? You create a focus zone, a space that signals to your brain, now we work. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a clean desk, a chair, good light, and, this is key, no phone nearby.
Let me tell you what I do. I use a corner in my room with a small plant, a water bottle, and my headphones. That's it. But when I sit there, my brain knows it's time to learn. And I even wear a hoodie, my study uniform. Huh.
Love that. It creates a ritual. Over time, your brain starts associating that space with deep focus. You enter what scientists call a flow state, where time disappears and learning becomes effortless.
And guess what? You can do this even if you live in a small place. Your focus zone could be a chair by the window or even a spot in the library. What matters is consistency and clarity.
When you combine this strategy with Pomodoro, it's like putting your brain in turbo mode. You'll study faster, remember more, and feel way less tired.
All right, Now that your space is set, let's give your brain the next big advantage, a trick that boosts memory instantly. This is one of my favorites. Okay, this one is a game changer. It's called the Feynman technique, and it's one of the fastest ways to study, understand, and remember things, even complicated topics.
Named after Richard Feynman, a brilliant physicist, the idea is simple. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So the trick is teach what you learn out loud, like you're the teacher.
Here's how it works: study a topic, then try to explain it in easy English, as if you're teaching a child. If you get stuck, go back and review. Repeat until you can explain it without looking at notes.
It's so effective. When you teach something out loud, your brain has to organize the information clearly. It forces understanding, not just memorization.
And it works amazing for English learners too. For example, if you learn a new grammar rule, try explaining it to yourself in the mirror. Say it like, okay, the present perfect is used when it feels silly, but it sticks.
I used this trick before my final exams. I would pretend I was on YouTube teaching the topic. My brain locked in the info so much faster.
And here's a bonus tip: record yourself teaching and listen to it later. You'll hear where you're clear and where you're not. It turns your brain into a learning machine.
All right, we've got Pomodoro, focus zones, and now the Feynman method. Let's bring in one more strategy, and this one might surprise you. It's about using your body to help your brain.
Here's something most people don't know: your body is a powerful tool for learning fast. Movement can actually boost your brain power and help you remember more.
Yep, studies show that light physical activity, like walking or stretching, can improve focus and memory. So when you're stuck or tired, don't just sit there, get up and move.
One trick I love is to walk around while repeating new English words or phrases. It feels fun and helps me remember better. Plus, it breaks the monotony of sitting still.
Or try this. After a study session, do some jumping jacks or yoga stretches. It refreshes your body and your mind. So the next time you sit down to study, you're sharper.
Even better, combine this with your breaks in the Pomodoro method. Use your 5-minute break to stand up, stretch, or walk outside. It resets your brain and prevents burnout.
Movement signals to your brain that it's time to absorb new info. It's like giving your brain a fresh start every time you get up.
So, to study so fast it feels illegal, remember: short, focused bursts, a clear study space, teach what you learn, and move your body. These four strategies together are powerful.
Next, let's get real about the challenges you might face when trying these tips and how to beat them so you stay on track.
So, you've got the tools, but let's be honest, nothing is perfect at first. You might try these methods and still get distracted or feel like you're not improving. That's normal.
Yeah, sometimes the biggest obstacle is your own mind. You might feel lazy, tired, or just plain unmotivated. Or you get stuck in the old habits that are hard to break.
One common fear is, what if I fail? Or what if these methods don't work for me? But here's the truth: failure is just part of the process. The fastest learners fail, adjust, and try again.
Also, life gets busy. Maybe your environment isn't perfect yet. Maybe your phone still distracts you. The key is to keep going, even if it's a little messy. Progress beats perfection.
If you feel tired, don't push too hard. Take a longer break or switch to a different topic. Sometimes the best way to study fast is to listen to your body and mind.
And remember to celebrate small wins. Finished one Pomodoro? Great. Learned 5 new words? Awesome. These little wins build your confidence and keep you moving forward.
If you stumble, don't give up. Try again tomorrow with a fresh mindset. Consistency is the secret sauce to learning fast.
And when you feel stuck, come back to this episode, listen again, practice the tips, and believe in yourself.
Okay, Liam, let's pretend you have a big English test tomorrow and you need to study fast. How would you start using our tips?
First, I'd set my timer for 25 minutes, Pomodoro style, and pick one topic, like vocabulary. No phone, just my focus zone.
Nice. And while studying those new words, what would you do to remember them better?
I'd use the Feynman technique. I'd try to explain each word out loud, maybe even teach it to my little sister, or just talk to myself.
Great. What if you feel stuck or tired after 25 minutes?
I'd take a 5-minute break and get up, stretch, walk around, maybe do some jumping jacks.
Perfect. And after 4 Pomodoros?
I'd take a longer break, maybe 30 minutes, and during that time I'd relax or listen to some English music.
Sounds like a solid plan. And remember, even if distractions come, you just restart the timer and keep going.
Exactly. Studying fast is about focus, breaks, and making it fun, not forcing yourself to sit for hours.
If you try this method just once, you'll see how much time you save and how much more you remember. Let's learn some useful words and phrases from today's episode to help you talk about studying faster.
First up, overwhelming. It means something feels too big or hard to handle. Example, the amount of homework was overwhelming, but I used the Pomodoro method to manage it.
Next, focus zone, a special place where you study without distractions. Example, I created a focus zone in my room to help me study better.
Flow state, when you're so focused that time feels like it disappears. Example, I got into a flow state and finished my English practice quickly.
Pomodoro, a 25-minute focused study session followed by a break. Example, I completed 4 Pomodoros and felt very productive.
Feynman technique, teaching what you learn to understand it better. Example, I used the Feynman technique to explain grammar rules to myself.
Consistency, doing something regularly to improve. Example, studying every day with consistency helped me improve fast.
Finally, motivation, the reason or desire to do something. Example, my motivation to learn English keeps me practicing every day.
Try using these words when you talk or write about studying. They'll make your English sound natural and smart. Wow, we covered a lot today. Remember, studying fast isn't about rushing. It's about using smart techniques that work with your brain, not against it.
Exactly. Use the Pomodoro method to focus, create your perfect study space, teach what you learn out loud, and don't forget to move your body. These simple steps can change your entire learning game.
If you start applying these tips, you'll not only study faster, you'll feel more confident and motivated every day. And that feeling, that's what makes learning fun.
So, what's your next step? Try one Pomodoro session today. Pick a small topic and focus. Then come back and tell us how it went in the comments.
Don't forget to subscribe to Speak English with Mishu for more practical tips to boost your English and learning skills. Share this episode with friends who want to study smarter too.
Thanks for listening and being part of our community. Keep believing in yourself. You have what it takes to learn fast and achieve your goals.
Until next time, keep speaking, keep studying, and keep shining. Bye!
Bye, everyone.